it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back once again with some more lovely wrestling news. That's right, we've already got one news video out today. You know the score. This has got the other stories from today because there's too much to fit into one video. So, without any further ado, let's get into those headlines. First of all, there appears to be backstage heat between Sasha Banks and a certain WWE Hall of Famer. Next up, Miro has given his opinion on WWE's apparent burial of his wife Lana. And finally, there has been a significant result in NWA, which could have potential huge ramifications involving WWE and or AEW. So first of all, it's been a pretty good few days for Sasha Banks, hasn't it? She beat Bayley at Hell in a Cell, becoming the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and in the process, I believe as well, completing the WWE Women's Grand Slam. She's been Raw, SmackDown Tag, and what, NXT Women's Champions? Yeah, she's been all of those, and did I say tag? She's held a lot of the belts. But it appears like Sasha could have a bit of heat with a WWE Hall of Famer, and that is none other than Booker T. The pair have been bickering on social media. It's been described as a social media feud. They've argued on kickoff shows and that sort of thing. And Booker has talked about this on his Hall of Fame podcast. So this is what he had to say about Sasha Banks. He says, I don't care what people think and what they say about me. That's my opinion if I like someone or if I don't like them. Sasha Banks and I is something that her and I have to hash out, implying that, yeah, they don't actually get along very well in real life as well. There is always a chance this could be a massive work though, isn't there? He goes on to say, this is between us, it's not between anybody else except Sasha Banks and myself. She said she's a 5-time champ, great, but Sasha Banks, she rubs me the wrong way a little bit. It could be her attitude. I'm sure someone that you've met rubs you the wrong way and perhaps is not your favourite person. I did not say that I hate her, I said I did not like Sasha. That could mean a lot of things. My thing is this, Sasha Banks and I, that's between us. He's saying that quite a few times. Stay in your lane and trust me, you'll do a whole lot better for yourself. You don't want to cross into my lane. So Booker's grievance there, I'm sure it goes deeper than that, but it appears to be the fact that Sasha said she was a 5-time champion, comparing herself to Booker, and he was a 5-time champion. And then Sasha said things like she's made more history than Booker and that sort of thing before, but I honestly think these things have been said on camera, in character. I don't know if it may, well, to be fair, Booker's rebuttals have often been on camera in character. So I really can't work out how legit this heat is between the two of them. I hope it's not real, obviously, because I'm a fan of both. I used to think Booker was great. I think Sasha's great now. I'd like it if they got on. But, you know, sometimes people just don't get on. And if it is true, if it is legit, then maybe they can work it out like adults, I suppose. Hopefully, anyway. But still, obviously, that hasn't stopped everybody from jumping in on social media. Seemingly, the balance seems to be in favour of Sasha Banks. Everyone seems to be on her side. She's the more current, more popular star, isn't she? Fair enough. And also, I guess Booker may have come across a little bit bitter, or a little bit, you know, like the old ex-pro slagging off one of the new current hot stars on the roster. I can understand why people sympathise with Sasha here, definitely. But once again, we don't know all the ins and outs of it. It could be real, could be work, I suppose. They could be best mates backstage for all we know. But yeah, that appears to be the long and short of it, and maybe Sasha will have more to say in reply. Next up, Miro, formerly known as Rusev in WWE, now of course Miro in AEW, has been asked about Lana always getting put through tables in WWE. So I think it's for 6 appearances in a row now, Lana has been put through the announce table, usually by Nia Jax, for no discernible reason. Like, it just keeps happening. It's becoming a running joke, like Kenny always dying on South Park. And this has led people to believe that perhaps it's a form of like very petty punishment from WWE, because obviously Lana's husband, Rusev Miro, has gone to AEW. Could be, I suppose. I wouldn't put it past WWE given their history. Well, Miro was asked about this and said to Inside the Ropes, I don't book their shows, I have no idea. All I know is that she's more likely tougher than anybody else on their roster, because clearly that's the first time in history this has been done. And every single time he goes on, she gets the F up and keeps going, you know. She doesn't say no, she doesn't say, I don't want to do that, she doesn't sell. Now when Miro says there that she doesn't sell the move, he doesn't mean that she doesn't sell it, literally, like she does. She's lying there in the rubble of the table, of course she's selling it. What I think he means by that, rather, is that he's saying she's no-selling them trying to upset her backstage, if this is true. If they're like, oh, we'll make her go through a table every week, that'll be really pointless and annoying for her. And then she's not selling it, as in she's not giving them the reaction they're after. If that's the case, WWE might need to, you know, treat Lana a bit better, to be honest, but fair play to her for not selling it, for not rising to it, and for just getting the job done. Miro also makes a good point there that in kayfabe she's probably a lot tougher as well, because no superstar gets put through a table week after week after week and gets up and continues as if nothing's happened the next week. So in an ironic way, WWE, by trying to make Lana look foolish, if they are, they're actually making her look really resilient and tough. Miro goes on, she's going out there and doing her job to perfection, because you can see in that ring, when she gets there, that time, you can see who's who and who's been working and who's been sitting on their asses the whole time. And I'm so freaking proud of CJ, because she's proven that she's most likely the most talented and underrated person in the whole entire wrestling community. So Miro's thoughts there on what's going on with Lana in WWE. He doesn't seem to know for sure whether it's deliberate or not, but he's very proud of her for going out there and doing it and proving that she's a hard worker. And that's nice. I think it's quite a heartwarming little story there on this news video. Next up, bit of a brief New Japan Wrestle Kingdom update. This year, Wrestle Kingdom takes place in January, so this upcoming Wrestle Kingdom, next January's 2021's, is like 2020's, set to take place over 2 days. So, for example, at the last Wrestle Kingdom, on night 1, we had a 4-man tournament, and then on night 2, we had the final of that tournament, and the winner won both the belts. And it was like the cards were packed full of quality on both nights. They could theoretically have maybe done one show, but at the same time, they needed that space, I think, a little bit. Now, at the time, it wasn't talked about as a permanent change. It wasn't like we're going to do Wrestle Kingdom over 2 nights every year. It was very much like, this year we are, because it's on a Saturday and Sunday, that's handy, but we might not do that next year. Well, last year's shows drew 40,008 and 30,063 respectively, so a bit of a drop-off there as the weekend progressed. But this year, it doesn't seem like the numbers are going to be quite as high because of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. So in an interview with Tokyo Sports, New Japan Pro Wrestling president Takami Obari said that a limit of 20,000 people would be set on both nights of Wrestle Kingdom. Now the Tokyo Dome usually carries a capacity of 50,000, so they are cutting it down quite a bit, less than half are allowed in, but 20,000 people I think is still a considerable amount of fans, especially given what we've seen so far this year. We don't know too much of the card for Wrestle Kingdom at the moment, but what we do know is that if both guys keep their belt and title shot respectively on the way to, Wrestle Kingdom itself, on the way to January, then it should be Tetsuya Naito defending his heavyweight and IC title belts probably against the winner of the G1 Climax, Kota Ibushi. They've faced before a lot of times. I even think they had a match. Yeah, they had a match at the Madison Square Garden show. New Japan did as well, didn't they? When they wrestle, it's terrifying. They like to drop each other on their heads a lot. So if this match does go ahead, I hope they're all safe in there, and I hope they have a wonderful time. Next up, there's been a big result in the NWA. A huge result for WWE and AEW, weirdly. I'll explain what I mean. So, the NWA Women's Champion, Thunder Rosa, is no longer the NWA Women's Champion. She has lost that title to Serena Deeb. This could mean a lot of things, but the first thing we have to mention is the fact that apparently, and lots of news sources have kind of reported this online, AEW and WWE are both said to be interested in Thunder Rosa. So this could be freeing her up from her last tie to the NWA, the title belt itself, and allowing her to sign for whoever she wants. Now, it's no secret that Thunder Rosa has really impressed since being given this big platform that she has been given on Dynamite, sometimes on pay-per-view even. She's kind of tore it up every time she's got in the ring. One of those matches was with Serena Deeb, who would this week take the NWA Women's title from her. So it's all quite intriguing what this could mean. Could she sign for AEW? It's no secret apparently that WWE are also heavily interested. And what does this mean for the NWA themselves? Are they doing a clever thing here or a stupid thing here? Because what they've done is they've put their belt on somebody who is already signed to AEW. Now you could say that's just asking for that person to be poached as well. But at the same time, you could be arguing that no, this is giving the NWA more exposure because they've got their women's champion wrestling and defending that belt on weekly, well, hopefully for Serena Deeb, hopefully weekly or semi-weekly TV. So it could be viewed both ways, I suppose. I guess it's just how it pans out in the future. And it looks like it's going to get off to a good start, to be fair, because this week, Serena Deeb will defend the NWA Women's title on Dynamite against Layla Hirsch, who I actually wasn't too familiar with, but I did notice that she competed in that mini women's tournament at Bloodsport recently and looked pretty damn good, so I'll be interested to see what happens there. And finally, Lio Rush, some nice news to end this video. Lio Rush and his wife Sarah Green have announced that they are expecting their third child. The couple posted this on social media. Rush wrote, 2020 is shaping up to indeed be one hell of a year. Looks like we're adding another little one to our family. They've already got 2 young sons, and I think everybody would just like to share their congratulations with Lio Rush and his wife for what's a very nice... I can't believe we're ending this news video on a positive story. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this news video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Stay safe out there, of course. Keep yourselves positive, and I'll see you very soon.